Hello everyone, it's Medvis Jackson with the Digilouge. I'm here with the Honorable Trav Marquee, and also, introduce yourself.
You got Martez, Knowledge Under Influence Podcast.
Throw out your Instagram handles real quick, or Twitter handles, whatever you want to do.
Martez _for show, FASHO.
Yup, Instagram, Trav Marquee, that's it.
All right, you can follow us at TheDigilouge, at TheDigilouge. So man, this year, released your album.
Yes, sir.
We got to have a really cool, nice little party in Detroit. The name of the album kind of speaks for itself in terms of your attitude towards, Doubts Over Dreams. Like, how, like, when you approached the album, you were thinking maybe like this might be the last one.
Yeah.
And so go into that. Like, what made you think that I don't want to do this anymore?
It was just like a culmination of making music for so long. It just kind of just wanted to be at peace with finishing up things, the way I wanted to finish them up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like be the ball player that went out too late.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they went out Vince Carter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like Vince Carter, but it's like I don't want to play 5 years too long. You know what I'm saying?
You want a gracious exit.
A gracious exit. But what I learned was like along this process is that like, hey man, I'm 29, going on 30. Like I'm still getting better, like bro, and I'm still having more content, better content.
Yep.
More experience to talk about, just what I'm saying right now, and so.
And then so with those enemies and dreams, did you feel like the enemies were getting the best of you, and those external enemies, or those internal enemies that you had, like kind of like demons?
Yeah, it was the ones within for sure.
What would some of those be?
It's a proverb, it's an African proverb, and it's like there's no enemy on the outside. No enemy on the inside. The enemy on the outside can't harm you. So. Those enemies are just doubts. Complacency, fear, anything.
Yeah. And so when you finally decide, yo, fuck it, I'm about to do the album, where did you get started? Did you start writing first, or did you just start, going through beats and kind of figure out what the feel you wanted to have the album to have? Like, kind of go through that process for us a little bit.
Yeah, went through the beats. I go through like 1 million beats. Yeah, like a lot of them. Had to go through a lot of instrumentals, man, just to come up with 11 songs. And
you write to the beat, or do you write and then find something to accompany it?
I write to the beat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite joints on it is I like Heavy as the Head.
Yeah, you told me. Yeah.
That's one. And then there's the second track on there.
The Blueprint.
Blueprint. Those I feel like those are, because again, and I'm gonna get to this later. Like the whole like. I feel like for so long, rap was all about the hustle. Yeah. Hustling under the law, over the law, around the law. And I feel like for us as black men and for black folks in general, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us have to navigate, whether it's family dynamics or, you didn't have nobody before you that did it, and so you're having to figure out stuff on your own. I feel like those songs are very cerebral. And it's like, okay, I can do this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I can do this. Is that how, so with those two songs, do you feel those songs embody that your attitude that you went into the album, or were the other songs more so? Because I know Forever Mood is huge with people.
Forever Mood. Forever Mood was the one.
Yeah, and there's another joint,
Honestly, that's my
so
joint.
those are the party joints.
I couldn't even listen to the rest of the album. Like I kept getting to that song and like replaying it. I got stuck. It's like a vibe. Like it give you this whole little vibe. You just want to sit there.
Tap is my Drake Marquee.
Yeah, it had that Drake. It really had that Drake vibe.
That's that Toronto summer vibe right there. For real.
I mean, like, look, it's like as far as like the Blueprint, Heavy as the Head, those type of songs are songs that it's me contemplating, like, how am I gonna, like you said, how am I weaving through this traffic of figuring me out of my own destiny? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to ever come up like I have everything figured out, or that I know the end of the road, because I don't. I'm just in the fucking process. So a lot of those tracks were just in the moment, just a current mood. It didn't sound like really cohesive, maybe, but like it was a current mood. You know what I'm saying?
Which one you think you put your like all into, like to like really embody that whole album, like to you?
I would probably say, honestly, man, my favorite song on there is the intro and the first track and the last track. Mm-hmm. The first track is called Resilience. Yeah. So I just think that was like, it's like dreams and friends and enemies take the same shape. These days, lose and win, I'm making the same face. And I felt like that related to a lot of the things I was kind of going through at that time. You know what I'm saying?
I think with Heavy in the Head, I think one thing I got so much out of was, because I went to private school in Detroit, U of D, and I felt like I knew cats that came from really good environments, and yet,
yeah, I know I already know where you're going.
Yeah, and felt the pressure of having to portray something that actually wasn't what their parents had given to them, in terms of the choices they made. And with that song, I felt it said I know guys who, you know, it's like to the point where I feel there's one lyric where it says like I grew up with cats who didn't have who started reaching for no reason or something to that extent.
I grew up with dudes who got everything they wanted and needed. Same niggas trying to be street for no reason.
There we go. That was.
But really, they skimming the surface. They ends like distant cousins. They barely be meeting. So like it was like yeah, cause it's like coming up with people like that, bro. Like people who like I know for a fact. I'm like, bro, your mom went out of her way. Your mom and dad went out their way, bust their ass. Working 80 hours a week, got you all the Jordans. You got a fucking car when you were 16. Like, not saying that you didn't have a struggle, but just saying that like the choices you making right now are going contrary to what your parents represent. And I know your parents. You know what I'm saying? It's like.
But I think it becomes a thing where it's your environment and society. Like you kind of have to have this role. Like Tupac was not a thug. He was always trying to give a great message to the community. You know, empower the black people. But he had to be this thug. Like he had to live a certain life because that's what society forced him into. Like,
don't you feel like my bad? Don't you feel like that? That's people more take to drama more than anything.
That's the world we built off drama.
But do you think that was the marketing, or do you think
that too?
Do you think it was the marketing that could have said this is what's on sale?
Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, like looking back at it, when you see, Tupac was actually giving a real life message. Like he wasn't no thug. If you look at some of the interviews Tupac did, he was an educated black man. Like he was not a thug at all. He just became a product of his environment, and that's what he had to do. People do that. And
I think to that point, I think from that 90s era to where we are in the last, and as controversial as he is, and I don't agree with his political viewpoints right now, but with Kanye, I felt he was part of the turning the page of, like when he started rocking them pink polos, and I'm walking home from school with the tie and the button-up shirts and the office grandpa pants, I'm like, okay, like there's different ways to be a young black man in Detroit, and so I feel like do you feel like we're kind of turning the corner? I feel like with Nipsey's death too, unfortunately, that people are realizing, man, like there's so many ways to be thorough and be real and also to be.
Yeah, I mean, bro, like we have a mentality of being boxed in as to where we have to portray something that we're not. Like the outside world sees us this way, and then even in our inner circle, we're afraid to voice our intellect. We're afraid to be vulnerable. We're afraid to be respectful to women. You know what I'm saying? It's like all of those things and be creative. Like I'm a full. One reason I love this show, Game of Thrones, is like it represents a character on a 3-dimensional level. It's not nobody on this earth is just a good person or a bad person, in my perspective.
Okay.
We all have these demons we face. We all have these doubts. We all have these good things about us and great intentions as well. You know what I'm saying?
You think you should have been on Game of Thrones?
Nah, ain't no brothers on there. Only Grey Worm was on there.
You'd have to have come from your own corner of the planet then, and your own dimension. Who's the one lady with the dragons? I didn't never got to the show. Daenerys, because she was like in a warm climate, right?
She was,
Yeah, in a warmer climate. All right, yeah. We might have to have Game of Thrones part 2, like there's Game of Thrones and paid in full or some shit. All right then. So what can people? Definitely check out the album. But what can people expect coming forward from you in the next year? What are some things you think you might want to venture into?
Right now, man, it's just me. I took some time to I wanted to accomplish a couple things on a personal level. So I've been kind of like just laid back, but just building a foundation. Me and some people I've been working with. One person, Courtney Ford.
Yeah, that's what's up. Shout out to Courtney.
Yeah, shout out to Courtney Ford.
Yeah, she's moving to Detroit right now, so I check
doing
her out.
Her thing. Yeah, got a great group. Size. Yeah, I wanted to accomplish some personal things, so it's like me trying to find a good balance. But right now, I just been trying to keep everything about the music. Like I didn't want to stray too far away and start trying to be everywhere and kind of lose myself. So right now, we're working on the visual though. The visual that's coming like in June. It's gonna be dope as hell for Forever Mood. That shit finna be fire.
So on that branding tip, how do you feel you've had to grow? Because all artists, there's so much in here that it's hard for them to be all out here, and they feel like once they're all out here, they lose connection with what's inside of here. We're having to push yourself on social media and be a little more accessible. Do you feel you got to be accessible, or do you feel like I can, I don't have to do social media like everybody else got to do it? Do you still figuring out that lane still?
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's like one of the things I need to work on is like social media, because it's like I like privacy so much. I feel like I give so much of myself through the content of the music. Is like I don't want to show every day I'm at the gym. or a show every date I go on, every time I go to a restaurant, every time I'm at the Pistons game, every trip I take, you know what I'm saying? It's like I wanted some time to myself and the protection for the people around me. Like, not that I'm a big artist, but, and it creates a, you know, it gives me more room to kind of like figure out my own shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, still working on some side shit without having to feel like, damn, I got to put this post up today. I got to post 17 pictures. It ain't about how I look. I ain't fucking Idris Elba, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is about my music.
Okay. And then you say do you feel like you're building a team. You said Courtney and other folks, you're building a team so that you can start figuring out that process for yourself. I think that's really important. I know with the Digilouge, our whole goal with the Digilouge is helping creatives enter into the music industry. And so one thing I've learned since moving back to Detroit from Brooklyn is that Detroit has a lot of really talented people here. And we got CCA, College of Creative Studies here, Wayne State's down the street. And then of course you got kids coming in from U of M and Michigan State and some other schools, Lawrence Tech and whatnot. And so there's some really creative folks here. And so it's just, it's when you're just getting started, you got to figure out the budget balance of how you can involve who and whose motives are what. But I definitely encourage folks that, if you can find somebody who believes in you, say, hey, I ain't got the money, but I can help you out this way. You know what I'm saying? Some way, some kind of exchange, or you remember them when you do take off. You know what I mean? So
loyalty, man, is number one. Never forget the people that was there for you.
So another track on one of the on the album, one of the lyrics actually, it says, might like your pics. That's about it. Oh yeah. Do you remember real quick? That's about it. So I'm gonna throw out the whole, the ladies and everything like that. You feel as a millennial, a lot of us, I know myself. I feel dating can be actually really kind of exhausting and like makes you very anxious, and it's just not fun, honestly. Do you feel like you kind of letting it rock with the whole social media game? You feel like DMs are lighting up a little bit more with the social media game, or?
Honestly, bro, I'm an old school kind of cat. Yeah. But I just feel like, I don't know. That track was just like, that was a mood I was in at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because like you hear me on that track, then you hear me on Honestly saying something completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like feeling a whole different way. You know what I'm saying?
The U-turn real quick.
Yeah, the U-turn like, damn, I like her. I like her. You know what I'm saying?
Wrong shit.
Exactly. So like,
messing up.
Yeah.
So for the ladies out there, DMs is open?
DMs, man, hell yeah.
That's the alley, y'all. Somebody got I'm throwing y'all ladies the alley, all right? So you think like all this, do you think that like 15 years out, you think that our kids are gonna believe, not 15 years, but 20 years out, 25 years out, you think our kids are still gonna be using dating apps, or are we gonna kind of like ditch all of that and go back to the old way?
I think that right now we just now figuring out the ramifications of too much stimulation through social media, and I think that the kids coming forward are gonna know that, and they might even revert back. It's like when I watch a lot of these movies like Will.i.am or something, I said Will.i.am, what's that, iRobot, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like, I feel like we're gonna have an overkill in the technology, then we're gonna go back in time. Yeah. And then niggas gonna be wearing like, just barely wearing clothes and walking up the street with a dog or something. Cause it's like, we like, damn, we done toppled out on this technology shit.
Yeah.
I wanna get back to the roots, like, cause at a base level, bro, like we really supposed to be out here hunting, like doing things with our hands.
Well, our brains evolved for like community, not for this screen. And there's so much happening on this one screen. It's real. The thing is, social media is real life. It is. And so all that has ramifications. That whatever you send in DM, that has ramifications. So people got, I think even with your album release party, that was such a dope.
It was dope as hell.
Because it was like,
I wasn't invited. I guess I ain't know him yet. So.
You ain't know him yet.
I didn't even know him yet.
You didn't know him yet, yeah. But the next one, you guys maybe do a double album.
You'll be there for sure.
We had so many different kind of people there.
Bro, that's what, look.
In person.
Like, it's so dope to have people around you that
Did you expect that, like, outcome?
Honestly, working with this guy, and
this guy's popular at the office, man. Yeah. So these guys, you put the word out, but.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is the thing, right? Like, I'm always trying to think in terms of not what's local. I love the city, I love my community, but it's a whole world here. 7.5 billion people there. They all look different. They all act different. If I can encapsulate that, that opens the market up for me.
I think in Detroit, I think in life period, because that's what the Digilouge kind of got going in terms of people. I think we are hitting the social media overload, and it's so nice to be around positive vibes. People looking to better themselves at the Digilouge events, and shout out to Drew in New York and Atlanta doing so much out there for the Digilouge. And then here, having the privilege of working with Rob on a few events here in Detroit, people really enjoy not only getting to meet people in person, but seeing the same people and start building some actual rapport with people as opposed to just like tweeting back and forth.
Well, see, and that's what I like. And I'd be like, dang, I done seen you here, I done seen you there. Now, eventually, like that just become your circle. You actually see these same people at all different events, and you find ways to continuously connect with them. And then you sitting here doing something like this, like.
And in Detroit, it's tough, I think, with how the mass transit is not existing as well as it should, and so people drive from so far out and drive so far in, so people just dip out after work, and there's no that's what the DigilougeLock here was like. There was no after hours culture as much. It was that people have been doing stuff, but I felt like at least even with where I work and stuff like that people are just dipping out to work.
Oh yeah, go straight to the crib, go right to the burbs. Nigga has a wheel. Everybody leave Detroit, go home.
And just have people hang out a little bit is dope. All right, so I think we should go into a quick fire round with some take it or leave it. So you're going on a trip, you got the whole season 1 with you for this road trip, or it's going to do a mix of albums and TV shows, right? No internet, no streaming. All right. So I'm gonna name the artist, and you can just think of their best album and say, take so and so, leave the other one, or take this show and leave the other one. All right. Now you jump in a few and throw a few in there too as well. All right. So the first one is going to be Family Matters or Good Times.
Shit, Good Times. Good times. Sure, hell yeah.
All right, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Biggie, Tupac.
I gotta have Pac.
Gotta have Pac.
All day.
Yeah. I was about to walk away if you'd have said Biggie. Take my mic. I'm out of here.
Take it or leave it. Solange or Beyonce. Road trip. You gotta take the whole album. Solange. There you go.
Really?
Both
of her last 2 albums is on replay. I know all the songs.
I never knew nothing about Solange until her last. Other than she was Beyonce's sister, the last album she had, because everybody was like really saying it was a fire album, so I'm like, let me listen to it.
Beyonce definitely the queen, but Solange music, it got that vibe. I'm on a road trip.
Beyonce the sun, Solange the moon.
Yeah, okay.
That's how I look at it. That's how she made me feel.
All right, I like that. I didn't think about that way. Okay. Let's say Red Fox or Sanford and Sons. So Sanford and Sons with Red Fox. Sorry, Sanford and Sons, Red Fox, or what was it, John? Moving on up, moving on. Jefferson. Sorry, my bad. I'm blanking.
I think I definitely watched more Jeffersons coming up.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just what I watched. I watched both of them, but like probably more Jeffersons.
Kevin Hart or Cat Williams?
See?
They both little.
Yeah. I gotta go with Kevin Hart. Cause like,
no, I'm saying pure comedy. Don't say work ethic. Don't say like.
No, not even the work. Just
comedy, straight comedy.
The milk out of the bowl shit. Remember that shit? Remember you talking about his uncle and shit?
Yeah, no.
He's like, who's that? Hey, cat drinking out the damn milk out of the damn. Remember that shit? That shit was funny.
All right, here we go. Parkers or Girlfriends.
Girlfriends for sure. I didn't like the Parkers.
Yeah, I thought Monique was hilarious, but all right, last one. We might have 2 more. Spotify or Apple Music. Spotify.
Hell yeah, artist friendly.
No title.
Title, yeah. My shit.
Title. You mean a platform to get your shit out there, like user friendly, or?
All of them are dope as hell. I like Spotify because it's put me on a lot of new artists, like a ton of them, like Sias.
Yeah. All right, one of my last ones. For a week, gotta eat one thing straight. Cuisine. Which cuisine do you gotta eat for a week straight?
A week straight? I can eat wings every day.
Wings? That's a Detroit cat.
Aladdin or Hercules?
Hercules' story is just so dope. Like the real Hercules story?
No, the cartoon.
Shit, man. I'm just so programmed for the real Hercules story. I gotta go with Hercules, bro.
Okay.
You downtown or midtown? Downtown Detroit or midtown?
Midtown. I'm just gonna jump in.
Midtown.
I love Midtown.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, man. So, anything else you want to leave with the folks? Any views on the next political presidential campaign? Anything?
What you about to say? Something?
Nothing. I ain't into politics. I ain't into
Everybody
politics.
vote.
Oh, I vote.
What we got going on now? I don't know. what we got going on now. But everybody vote. Use your right to vote, whoever you vote for. But
I don't have anything to say about politics, man. Right now, I definitely feel a way about a certain stuff, but like, I don't want to.
You want to dip into it too much?
Get into it too much because I don't want to like sound crazy about some of the shit out because I think a little.
Put this on me. Let's get the president 46. Let's do that. You have 45 now. Let's get to 46. That's how I say that.
Hey, but I look at everything like this. Like we got to go through every phase of life. You know what I'm saying?
You definitely learn.
You got to learn from that shit. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, and take it going forward.
What about locally? I think we've been chopping it up, and you mentioned your passion for reading. And with I think again like that blueprint, heavy's ahead, like having kids understand how they're gonna navigate their futures, and reading being a big part of that. How do you think you foresee yourself getting involved with the young shorties?
Definitely, man. Like, so I went to E-course public schools coming up, and one problem that we had, we didn't have enough books to take home to do homework. So it's like, how could you can't take home?
What y'all doing, sharing? you do Monday to Tuesday?
Bro, it's honestly, we just would not have homework. What? So it's like, how am I supposed to? Yeah, it was weird. Like,
do you think that was kind of planned? What was grown-ups? What was your parents saying?
Honestly, like we talk about all the time. Like, I think that when you're going through a phase of worrying about what you're gonna put on the eat for dinner, mom got to go to work. She ain't worried. I don't have homework today. What? Okay. Like, there ain't nobody going in, digging in. And
do you think we need more advocates? Because you talk about the political question.
Yeah, well, we don't have enough. Look, you got an entire paradigm, an entire burden being shifted onto women in the community for the most part. We're the men to come in and say, the men are supposed to establish the order and combat a lot of that stuff. And not saying that women don't do it, but like you're asking a mom to go to work and come and do everything all the time.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate. I think a lot of women have become so strong to be able to have this mentality where I don't need a man. And that's really been at least the black mom. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. Then they didn't still let in 2 or 3 other young women that they raised, and now they growing up and it's like, I don't need a man.
Do you think that that's a coping mechanism? Because if you waiting for somebody to do something, and if we as black men never do it, then you saying forget it. I'm telling myself I don't need him because I can't wait for him.
Bro, this is what it is. Your woman has to trust your masculine core. That when you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do that shit. Like she has to know that you're gonna be there, and when you ain't there, she can't trust that. And we ain't there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And for whatever reason, we're not there, and the reason can vary. The reasons vary.
Figure it out.
Yeah. So
I know. My dad said in general, I had a father who was very present, and he told me when you see your first child, you make a choice. You go left or right. You're gonna be really involved and to step up. He says you don't know what you're doing when you first get the kid, but he said you make it left or right. You decide I'm just gonna do whatever I can to make this work, or you kind of back away from the situation because it's a little too much. Because so I think that it'd be interesting to see how we can get young men like ourselves, and even guys younger than us, to understand whether it's in school with reading and taking your school work seriously, whatever. Just kind of saying what kind of person do I want to be?
Your mind is all you have. In life, man, it's not about finding who you are. Everybody wants to kind of fall into who they are and shit every day by mistake, bro. It's about creating who you want to be, creating yourself. You got to, come up with a person that you see that you like, and follow that person's blueprint. But also, a Nipsey Hussle, right? He's getting a lot of acclaim right now, but Nipsey.
And all the people who raving him up right now, I don't know how many of them are helping him get that stuff going.
Exactly, and it's not about one person carrying the community. It's about everybody every day making choices. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we definitely and when you get you to perform, gotta get a book drive or something going, because just even if it's symbolic, just getting us to understand encouraging. The state of Michigan's gonna be changing the rules so that if you're the kid not reading at grading level, they're not gonna pass you at 3rd grade. So by 3rd grade, you're gonna have to repeat it, and that does something to a kid's self-esteem. So, literacy is very important.
You talked about that on your podcast. Yeah, you asking one great question. You said hey man, what you gonna do for the kids?
And that's important because they're the next generation. You can't anything you do, whatever decisions you make, the choices you make, it all has to be able to reflect in our youth. And because they watch everything you do. Kids watch everything you do, and you don't even know it. Subconsciously, they are paying attention, and then they go out and recreate these moments and say these things that they've heard. They don't even know what it means, but they regurgitate it, and now they're either going to be tarnished or they're going to be better people. So
let me wrap with y'all on this then, because I've been struggling with this. So you've had people, I remember one famous interview with Bill O'Reilly, not a fan, but Bill O'Reilly was talking to Cameron and Dame Dash. This was like 2002.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? It's an epic interview. You mad, yeah. And like Cameron, I mean, I've had some rappers like Cameron saying like they're just reporting what they see in the neighborhood. However, I feel like there's a difference between reporting and glorifying it. I feel like there's rappers like Kendrick and others who will just report that this is what's going on versus like I feel like if you're gonna talk about using a firearm, you need to talk about the consequences of a lost life, or you're conscious and how you live with that, or the family of the people after that, or like doing time.
Look, anybody that report anything, I look at things in a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional level. Like if you're not looking at it on a 3-dimensional full circle level, you're not looking at it realistically. You know what I'm saying? And so like when people say like I'm just reporting this, but I'm only talking about the glory and the bitches that come with the money and the murder, but I'm not saying like, oh, my man got murdered, got 25 to life, now you know what I'm saying? He going crazy in the pen, he committed suicide, you know what I'm saying? Like that's bullshit. Like I'm not trying to hear that shit. Cause it's like all this shit you saying, people really got to deal with in their real life. And like you programming these kids to come up and think a certain way, but then like they got to go out in the streets and deal with this shit for real. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't fuck with that shit.
Do you think that when you make your music, do you try to just be creative, or do you feel like I gotta be responsible with? How do you feel about people with creative license versus like artists being responsible?
I'm a fucking person that has to be responsible for the content that comes out. I have to represent, like first of all, I have an entire family that's looking at me that I care about more than anything. My close associates, they see who I really am. I'm responsible with my words, man. Like your words mean everything. You know what I'm saying? And I talk a little shit here and there because I feel a certain way, you know what I'm saying, sometimes, but hell nah, real life, all the time.
Oh no, I definitely come from a tradition where we believe that your words, your words can speak power to people. Not that the words can change the situation, but your words can bring encouragement, or your words can just perpetuate negativity. So that is really important. And I think that, I think we're in that era where people, because of the internet and the disruptive nature of streaming and all that people are able to like be themselves a little bit more, because you realize I can't be for everybody, and there's a lot of fans out there, you know what I mean? Next album, do you think you kind of have a timeline on it, or?
Man, the timeline, I already started thinking of some concept. The guy who executive produced the last project, Damon, named Dame Af, I just kind of brought up some ideas and some concepts, potentially. More so to kind of like, kind of like represent where we are right now, like as men, like approaching 30, our mindset, you know what I mean? Like it's not the same as when I was 24. So like, it's about like, damn, where am I right now? Where am I going? You know what I mean? So
I think that's a whole demographic out there, is that the folks who were listening to Jeezy, in 2003, are now at what age now? You know what I mean? 35, 30. So like, some of us will still be listening to like, whatever today, Kodak Black, but I can't connect with, I'm not at the age where I connect with that as well. And so I think there's a whole other demographic of people who are building families, who have mortgages, who are starting to put away for college, looking at college tuition like, man, my daughter, she's 16, like she's going to college next year, like I gotta do FAFSA. And I think like, those are real topics. Like if you're gonna report on that, like paying for your daughter's college. And so, so she can be a boss and be a queen, you know what I mean? So I think that's a whole demographic of people that you're rapping towards, and who are the brands looking at that?
I think that that's the funny part. Like I don't, look, I'm all open, and I'm definitely, the reason Nipsey was like my favorite artist currently was because like the independent mindset that he had. So like I can't worry too much about who's thinking what. The right things in my life have always come to me, so I haven't had to try to like pursue a sound, a character to appeal to everybody. I can't appeal to everybody anyway, you know what I'm saying? So the people that are for me will always come around because they represent what they, represent that same thing.
And maybe we can close out with this. What do you feel like, the fact that you were gonna stop music or figuring out like, man, maybe it's just time to move on, and you decided I'm gonna do it, and you really enjoyed the process. What do you think was the biggest lesson away from, from that kind of those two sides of emotions?
It's polar opposites. I read this book called The Superior Man.
Is that the one you were just reading?
I was telling you about. Like I stayed reading that book, but like my boy John Webb, shout out Operation Grind. He actually recommended that book because we both had heard it from Nipsey, but then he ended up reading and sending me some excerpts, and one of the excerpts said that if your friends are telling you to keep doing, if you want to quit a purpose that you have, but your friends are encouraging you to keep going, keep going. And all my friends encouraged me to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, damn. I was like, man, I was kind of like, man, I'm ready to go kind of step into this thing. Like, I'm cool, you know? But like, people was like, nah, man, keep going. Like, I really, like, bro, that project, this and that. I'm like, all right. Yeah, so people, it's resonating. So I'm like, keep going.
So keep going. That's a good thing. Yeah. If your friends telling you, like, yeah, you might want to chill. You might want to chill. All right, well, thanks so much. Throw out your Instagram handles one more time for the folks.
Martez_for-show, FASHO.
All right, and at TheDigilouge, and then
Trav Marquee.
And definitely follow us for upcoming events and activities we're going to be having here in Detroit in the fall of 2019. Definitely look out. If you have not checked out the album, get it on Spotify, get it on, Spotify?
Spotify, Apple, all of the streaming services. Yes.
Great. I really enjoyed it. It's a good, really easy listen, a lot of different vibes. So thank you so much, and check us out later.